Hi everyone, welcome to this video. Today's video will be about the second tip we'd like to share with you about setting up end-to-end analytics. So I'll tell you what I mean by this. First of all, it's about the importance of tracking every effort that you make in digital marketing. So we've seen how we could track both online and offline channels in the previous video. Now, let me start with the importance of tracking, first of all, the paid channels. So let's say you're using different channels, such as the real estate portals, homegate.ch, or you're doing Facebook ads, Google Display Network as well, and issuing some newsletters through MailChimp. To track all these channels, it's quite easy. We'll use, let's say, Google Analytics that will allow you to have information with regards to the origin of the traffic, also the behavior once the visitors are on your website, and also setting up different objectives and targets that you will have to have, such as clicking on this button, visiting that page, or downloading such document. Once you've set up all these objectives and measures, then you're able to use Google Analytics properly. Now, on top of this, whenever we'll say, for example, we'll put a banner on a real estate portal website, then we also want to be able to track the people that will click on that banner. For that purpose, we'll use what we call the UTM tags. So let's say you have a banner on let's say emoscoot.ch website, which is a portal for which you will advertise about a new fancy project. So the URL will be newfancyproject.ch. Then the UTM tag will be just some extra information that you will put in the URL. For example, you will put the source of the campaign. In that case, it could be the Emoscoot website. And then the medium, so that will be on the banner. And also you will add some information with regard to the campaign itself. For example, you put a code such as last 6 if you advertising a sale for the last 6 units of a project. So these UTM tags allow you to really have a precise tracking way for all the different content that you're distributing out there. And we strongly recommend to have as many as possible, rather it's one UTM on different format, for one banner on one website or another. Make sure that every single content is being tracked individually so that you can, again, make sure you optimize your return on investment in order to see how efficient or not an ad could be. Then after, you also need to analyze the organic search terms. So for that, you use Google Search Console, in which you will have an idea of a portfolio of keywords that are being typed in order to land on the website. So here you will have an idea of the organic traffic. So then you can also track it with Google Search Console. And then after, I've mentioned it in my previous video, we've had a lot of requests on how to best track the offline efforts. So for offline channels, there are 2 ways we would like to share with you today. First of all, with regards to call tracking. Call tracking, you've seen it. The first way is when you hide the number and you push the user to have to click on the button show number before having access to the number. This will already give you an idea of how many people will click to reveal the number. So you know, roughly speaking, that 75% of the people that will click in order to show the number are most likely to call. And then you have an idea of the amount of people that will have called through this ad itself. The second way that we would like to share with you is about having what we call a call tracking tool. There are different softwares, different applications that you can buy or you can get today, which basically allows you to purchase different phone numbers that will be forwarded to the same target. For example, you purchase 3 phone numbers, as we can see on the little image here, one for the billboard, one for the CPC campaign, and one for the SEO. So the 3 different phone numbers, but whenever someone calls one of these numbers, it's your phone or the phone of the broker that will ring. And the idea is that they all forwarded to the same target phone number, and at the same time you have an application that allows you to track different criteria such as the length of the call, where it was based, the time at which the call has been placed, in order for you to better understand also if more people are calling the billboard phone number or the SEO phone number that you put on the website, for example, or a phone number that you're using for the CPC, so the paid campaign. So here again, you get more data and more information on how efficient is one channel versus the other by just seeing the amount of phone calls you're getting from one or another number. The second way to track offline channels that we would like to share with you is a little trick actually of using different domains. So let's say you have this project that you call newfancyproject.com. You will use this URL, so the .com URL, for both the Facebook ads, the Google ads, and the Google display. So here again, you know that every time you're using a payable channel, you will use the newfancyproject.com address. However, whenever you will use another channel, for example, a billboard or flyer, you just put the other address, which would be newfancyproject.ch for Swiss projects. And obviously, whenever you type newfancyproject.ch, you land on the exact same website. It's just a redirect. You will land on newfancyproject.com eventually. But on our side, it allows us to track how many people actually typed the address .ch versus the amount of people that type the address .com. So here again, we get an extra level of data in order to track the efficiency of the offline channels, such as the billboard or the flyers, versus the online channels, such as Facebook ad or Google ads, for example. So these are the two tricks we wanted to share with you. Then after, once you still in the optic of tracking as many measures as you can, we also want to track people when they land on your website. So how can you really optimize the website usability itself? And here you have free applications such as Hotjar, for example, that you can use that will create a heat map that will show you how the people, the users, they interact with the website content, how long do they spend on one part of the website, how many clicks do you get. And that really gives you a sense of how people are reacting to the design of your website. Did you place the button at the right spot? Was it the right size? Is it obvious enough? Should you increase the size of an image, etc.? So these are some also measures that allow you to optimize the website itself. Obviously, always bear in mind that the objective here is to convert the users. And by conversion, again, I mean someone eventually sharing some data such as his email address. Now, so we have different tools that we're using, and every tool has its own tracking code itself. So if you use Google Analytics, it's a piece of code that you need to integrate. Same for Facebook Pixel or the Hotjar for the heat map. And in order to centralize them, what we do, we just put all this piece of code in the Google Tag Manager. So versus having to copy pasting everywhere, just put them in Google Tag Manager. You can monitor them quite easily, and it gives you an idea of how centralized they are, and then it's a lot easier to manage. So this is a little trick to manage them in a more efficient manner. Now, also the second issue would be the reporting. So every tool has its own reporting system. For example, you use Google Analytics or Facebook ads, and you, for example, use HubSpot for your own CRM, you're going to end up with 7 types of reports. So how can you best centralize the data and make sure that you only extract the data you need, and that is speaking the same language from one tool to another? So in order not to end up with a pile of different reports for which the data is not consistent, and you have a lot of manual work to do to reconcile everything, and then you're going to have to repeat over and over the information, what would you just... We forward all the data, all these reports into what it's called Google BigQuery in order to build this real data warehouse. In that way, we're able to produce our own single report, which are live actually. They're being fed by all these different sources. So all these different reports are being compiled and then used as a different source to generate one single report that we use and that we share with all of our partners. The purpose of these reports is, first of all, to be as transparent as we can with our clients, basically. You want to make sure that they see the return on investment they get for every single franc that is being spent in digital marketing. So, second of all, we also want to give them a sense of how efficient our efforts are or not. So, again, if I'm spending $10,000 in 3 months campaign, for example, what do I get from it? Like, how many emails did I capture? What was the evolution of the cost per acquisition, for example, for all these leads that we've delivered? So the idea is to really capture all this data and to submit it with our clients in one single format that is live, that is evolving every day, meaning like it's capturing the live data. So it's just a link we're sharing with them on which they can access whenever they want and see how good the campaign is evolving. So these are the little tricks we wanted to share with you. Again, in a nutshell, what you should take away from this quick video are 3 points on how to best set up end-to-end analytics. First of all, track as many data as possible. Make sure that you use all the different traffic sources, the user sessions, and also the targeted actions. Second is build the data warehouse. Make sure you combine all the collected information with CRM data and this different the spend cost in order to have one single reporting system, one single report that will regroup all of these. And last but not least, make sure you use automated live reports. So you can use Google Data Studio, Power BI, or even Tableau, which is another app. So in order to really have a report that is living, that is showing the evolution of the campaign and reflecting all the change in a live manner. So these are this is the tip I want to share with you. Really bear in mind of the importance of setting up end-to-end analytics for all the campaigns you're doing, and make sure you invest some effort into that at the beginning in order to track and to measure everything from day one. Thank you very much, guys, and I'll be sharing a couple of extra tips in the next videos.